Reuters, as corporate America celebrates one of the biggest ever cuts to its tax bill, one corner of Wall Street is fretting over the impact the reforms will have on its ability to profitably invest in companies. Private equity firms that buy companies only to sell them a few years later at a profit face restrictions on their ability to deduct the interest these companies pay on their debt from their taxes, according to legislation approved on Wednesday by U.S. lawmakers and set to be signed into law by President Donald Trump. The changes are a blow to the industry's business model of larding companies with debt-to-juice returns. They could make it more difficult and less profitable for buyout firms to outbid competitors for companies, industry executives said. It's a deviation from what has been allowed in the last 50 years, said David Fan, chief executive of Torrey Cove Capital Partners LLC, a private equity advisory firm. This is a radical change. In fact, the buyout business would have never evolved without the benefits of leverage. The rules also show the limits of the industry's influence in Washington, despite efforts by executives such as Blackstone Group LP chief executive Steven Schwarzman to cultivate Trump and his Republican Party. Companies that were previously unrestricted in the amount of interest they could deduct now face a cap for the next 4 years of 30% of their 12-month earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation and amortization, EBITDA. After 2021, the cap becomes even more constrictive by switching to 30% of 12-month earnings before interest and tax, EBIT. For a Reuters graphic on the sector-by-sector impact of the interest-deductible cap, click http://tmsnrt.rs/2azlrzf. Heavily indebted companies to take a hit. S&P Global Ratings estimates that nearly 70% of companies whose debt amounts to more 5 times EBITDA would be negatively impacted by the interest deductibility cap. This casts a wide net, given that private equity firms, on average, saddle companies with more debt than that, according to Cambridge Associates. Around a third of all leveraged buyouts are expected to be worse off under the new tax system, according to Moody's Investors Service Incorporated. Using excessive borrowing as a yardstick, health publisher WebMD, software provider Landesk and auto accessory seller Truck Hero are among those that could take a hit from the interest expense deductibility cap. All these companies are indebted at well above 5 times EBITDA, according to Thomson Reuters LPC data. WebMD owner KKR & Co. LP, and Truck Hero owner CCMP declined to comment on the impact of the cap on their companies and whether other aspects of the tax code overhaul could offset it. A representative for Landesk owner Clearlake Capital did not immediately respond to a request for comment. While the tax rates of private equity-owned companies will decrease alongside all other U.S. companies, the changes could hasten the demise of those struggling with their debt piles, Moody's said last week. This means that bankruptcies of heavily indebted private equity-owned companies, such as that of U.S.